Is it close enough? Hello, everybody. Hello. Welcome to Ageless Intimacy with Dr. Mia and Joseph. I am Joseph.
I am Dr. Mia.
How's everybody tonight? Tonight we're talking about
nurturing intimacy in your relationship.
Yep, nurturing intimacy and healthy sexual health, intimacy health, I guess. And that's what we're talking about tonight. Welcome. Let some other people get in the room. But before then, Dr. Mia, who are you?
I am Dr. Mia, your B3 specialist and board certified gynecologist. I help men and women suffering with weight gain, fatigue, and sexual dissatisfaction improve their quality of life through our cutting edge Mibella solutions. Our goal is to help you live well, age well, and experience everlasting intimacy.
And I am Joseph Brown, the male intimacy and health coach with Mibella Wellness. And what she said, our goal is to help you live well, age well, and have everlasting intimacy. Again, tonight our topic is
nurturing
intimacy and healthy sexual health. And when we talk about nurturing intimacy, Doc, what are we exactly talking about when it comes to nurturing intimacy?
So I would say more than just physical intimacy, but making sure we are focusing also on emotional intimacy, which requires good communication, good quality time, as well as recreational intimacy, where you're spending time together doing things that you both enjoy or that at least one of you enjoy. Mm-hmm. Some things I may not enjoy as much as Joseph, and he may not enjoy as much as me, but doing them together should make that better. And really, really important is the spiritual intimacy. So making sure that you have that spiritual connection, because, we believe in God, and then God keeps Joseph and I together. So in order to have true oneness, we need that spiritual intimacy as well. And then what's the other one? Intellectual intimacy. Making sure you're learning together and growing together personally and professionally and individually, as well as a team.
Okay. So that's what you would call nurturing intimacy. So again, she just went through 4 of the 5, I believe.
And then physical intimacy.
Yeah, we went through 4 of the 5. And nurturing intimacy, as she said, it's all the other stuff. They're going during the day. So as you're together, like we're together right now, and hanging out and we learn together, travel together, and also we like to do fun stuff together. So that's nurturing the intimacy in your relationship. It also helps at times to not only nurture the intimacy, but be in the moment. Try to be in the moment. Cell phones is taking us away from the moment.
Yeah,
so try to be in the moment, and that helps nurture intimacy. Like when you're going out to eat. We don't like to be on our phones when we at dinner tables and stuff like that when we go out to eat.
And we have to make a conscious effort.
Yeah, sometimes I'd even leave mine in the car because, but it depends. I have to say it depends because, we do have children. So, but sometimes, we just leave it in our pocket. Well, I put it in her purse or whatever, just so we, just have that time, whether it's an hour or 2 hours, just to, be with each other or be with friends and, have recreational intimacy if need be. So we're nurturing our intimacy and building up to nurture, all the way to get into physical intimacy, which is the one thing, we all want to work towards, but we want to have great physical intimacy, and we want to have healthy physical intimacy as well. So some of the things that, Doc, I'm going to ask you, what are some of the things when we're getting up to physical intimacy we want to pay attention to make sure that we're at least enjoying ourselves? That's personally like, and I'll say what I pay attention to, but what would you pay attention to if you were, let's say, not in healthy intimacy, but it's something that you do notice that should pay attention to so you can ask somebody about?
Well, I would say, I think the biggest thing is communication. So in order to have good, healthy intimacy, communication is important. So paying attention to my body, making sure that my arousal is just like it used to be, making sure that I'm still enjoying the physical intimacy. And then to me, even the point leading up to the true physical intimacy, which may not be actually intercourse, but the touching and the kissing and the hugging and the loving, and still making sure that, you're experiencing that foreplay. Because a lot of times when you're married or you've been with your partner for a long period of time, sometimes the foreplay kind of goes out the door, but just remembering the importance of foreplay for that real connection, and that oneness, so that we can, both enjoy the physical intimacy as we partake.
Absolutely. I would say the one thing too you want to pay attention to is, how does it feel? Is it as sensitive as it always has been? Does it has a numbing feeling?
Mm-hmm. Is it harder for you to reach your climax and enjoy? For women, are you noticing that there's more dryness? And so therefore, you feel like the tissue is more lax or more sensitive not in the right way though, more sensitive, like uncomfortable, or painful. So those are the sorts of things that if those things are happening, we know we need to talk to our doctors so that we can figure out what to do for that tissue. Because, I always recommend that women start treating that vaginal tissue as soon as they notice any kind of change or any dryness during the act of intimacy. That is the sign to start treating the tissue so that we don't have those issues. And then when I'm looking, at my husband, making sure that I know that he is enjoying and having those communications with him, and making sure that his function is as well as it used to be, and so that it's pleasing to me. So I think that sometimes having that communication as we age can be a little bit more difficult, because those are some more difficult conversations when we're noticing our bodies change. It's, it's an ego thing for the woman and the man, I think, when our bodies are changing as we're aging. But I think being clear and communicating effectively, and being able to talk to your partner about the changes you notice that you may not like for yourself, and also being comfortable to let them know, things that they may be able to improve or work on or see their doctor about, because you've noticed some changes with them.
Okay. You said pleasing to you. What about pleasing to the partner?
Right. That's why I said communication. So you tell me what's pleasing to you, because it's hard for me to tell sometimes.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So I need to communicate to you what's pleasing to me, and you need to communicate to me what's pleasing or not pleasing to you.
But at what point do a person need to, because I'm talking about self-evaluation, at what point does a person need to communicate with their physician that it's not pleasing to them, regardless of what the partner is doing?
Right.
And for me, if I didn't have any sensitivity in that area, right, or the lack of stiffness, or or just
and for me, I said areas, the vaginal dryness component or the discomfort would be the sign for me,
right?
Or not reach, like you said, not reaching a climax, having a hard time reaching a climax, not having intense or frequent big O's, would definitely be something that you need to talk about. But again, those are more difficult conversations, because your partner could take it personally, when in actuality it's just changes in your own body. It doesn't have anything to do with them doing something different or wrong necessarily, just you noticing that there's some changes that you need to look into with your doctor, or possibly start treating the tissue. And then for men, what is it that you notice when things are different for yourself?
Well, I would say if you're having back to what I was saying, if you're having a lack of sensitivity, like if you're having a numbing feeling, I've never had the numbing feeling, but there are certain areas that are way more sensitive than the others, especially the tip. So if you're having a lack of sensitivity in those areas, or you're having a numbing feeling, or a lack of stiffness, or or what we call medium hard, where it's kind of stiff but not as stiff as it usually is. I would say those are times where I would really look into, make sure that when I visit my physician, I would bring that up and make sure, that everything is okay with me physically.
Right.
You know,
Right.
And I think that's the method. And the problem with climaxing, I couldn't tell you about that, but honestly, if there was a problem with climaxing, or you just could not finish, even if you felt like you can go longer and you couldn't finish, then that's most definitely something you need to talk to your physician about.
Right.
Now, here's the thing, though, because I saw this on the podcast, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was 3 dudes, and one dude said, intimacy lasts, physical intimacy lasts 20, 30 minutes. It ain't no, 2 hours or anything like that. And then the other guy was like, you're crazy, hour and a half minimum. And I was like, this dude is insane.
Well, maybe he's talking about
No, he don't do none of the foreplay stuff.
Well, studies have been done, and on average, it's really less than 20 minutes that intimacy
But let
lasts.
me finish.
Okay.
Let me finish. but I mean, 20 minutes is good, right?
Mm-hmm.
30 minutes is phenomenal. But an hour and a half. Now, listen, fellas and ladies, if you're expecting an hour and a half, unless you are 18, 19,
25,
25, maybe, you know what I'm saying? 30, okay. 40, 50, man, we trying to be asleep by 1 o'clock.
Right.
By midnight.
I'm trying to be asleep by 11:30.
We don't ever get sleep by 11:30, but
I do.
But we trying to be asleep by midnight. So ain't nobody going no hour and a half, 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And if you are, a good round of applause for you.
Right. And then, sometimes.
And if it takes you that long to get there,
right,
round of applause for you. And if you can stay good all that time, good for you. I'm good. Nah,
but in actuality, most people know their bodies well enough to kind of know the things that you need to do for both people to enjoy. And most of the time, it's not going to take, more than 20 to 30 minutes for that to happen or less.
I mean, I'm just saying.
And then, but some people may go, round for round, like podcast, when we were younger,
on this podcast, sometimes we try to play the hero, like, oh, I can go all night. Who trying to do that?
And well, I don't want to
and do something tomorrow.
Right.
And do something tomorrow. I ain't gonna be able to do nothing tomorrow.
So again, kind of going back to that whole communication, because different people like different things, but communicating that with your partner is key. And then if you are noticing some changes and you can't do the things, I'm not talking about that. I'm just saying, if you are noticing some changes, then making sure you address that, make sure there's nothing serious going on physically with your physical health. And once you rule that out, knowing that changes are a normal part of aging. It is normal for your testosterone levels to decline and for you to not have as much of a desire, for it to take longer for arousal, and for it to take longer to reach a climax. So sometimes replacing the testosterone helps with that. And then also, if there are changes like erectile dissatisfaction or vaginal dryness, there are also some intimacy procedures and other things that we can do to treat that and to prevent it before it even starts. So the good news is that you can maintain physical intimacy as you age and mature. It may not be like you were at 25, but you can still enjoy intimacy and oneness physically with your partner. But you may need to get a little bit of help as you age and mature because the body just naturally changes.
Yeah. Or I mean, help could be going to the doctor and see if there's anything wrong.
Right. And that's first and foremost.
And things do decrease over time, but it doesn't have to be where you're just not active.
Right.
Right. So, so we're talking again about nurturing intimacy. There are all forms of intimacy, 5 different forms of intimacy, not just physical intimacy. There's intellectual intimacy, recreational intimacy, spiritual intimacy, emotional intimacy, as well as
did you say recreational or intellectual?
Yep, sure did. And so so we're talking about nurturing all of those in order to get to healthy physical. And sometimes it's just, it's good to be intimate throughout the day with your partner, just so you have a healthy relationship. Some nights you ain't gonna, you ain't gonna do it.
Right.
But we have a 3-day rule in our house. So every 3 days, Somebody's gonna say
minimum,
something.
yeah. So you can't.
Right.
If we go 3 days, then we need to have a conversation and
Right.
make a point to make sure that we,
Right.
experience that oneness together.
Right. So, but otherwise, so we're talking about nurturing intimacy. What else, Doc? So if you're having a lack of sensitivity, you can't climax, or you're having a lack of arousal, you need to go talk to your physician, or talk to your GYN, or talk to your internal medicine for me, or
your urologist sometimes for men.
Urologist. Yeah, it depends upon where you are. I don't know why. I can't tell you why men go see a urologist, because I've never seen one.
Because you hadn't had to, because you don't have any prostate issues.
That's what I'm saying. I'm just, I don't know.
Right.
So I go see my internal medicine.
Right. And as men age, a lot of times they'll just have a urologist, because it's normal for the prostate to start changing in size. Right. And when that happens, you're monitored more closely. Some men may notice there's a different stream of urine, so you want to rule things out that way. But some of the things that you can do to prevent erectile dissatisfaction would be to, maintain healthy cholesterol levels, maintain healthy blood sugar levels, maintain a good blood pressure. So all the things that affect blood flow can negatively affect your erections. So making sure all of those things are in place. If you have a history of prostate problems, prostate cancer, you've had your, prostate surgery, you've had radiation, all of those things can negatively affect it. Smoking, alcohol, and then other chronic disease can definitely affect it. And for women, it's pretty much the same thing, because for the genital area, it's all about blood flow. And whenever you have chronic disease that negatively affects blood flow, it can negatively affect your physical intimacy. So getting those things under wraps first and foremost would be important, and ruling out anything serious going on besides just the normal aging process, not assuming that. Outside of that, just healthy living. So exercising, eating healthy, all the things that we should be doing anyway. But exercise is going to be key, because physical intimacy is physical. And so, you need to be able to, you need to stretch regularly, to maintain your flexibility, to not have the back pain and all those things. The first thing that's required is that healthy living. So making sure you add exercise and stretching and resistance training to your normal regimen will definitely help you to experience everlasting intimacy.
Did
it?
Yeah. All right. So again, we're talking about nurturing intimacy
and not just physical intimacy.
Yeah, nurturing intimacy and healthy intimacy, and also talking about noticing changes in your body. Noticing changes in your body when it comes to being intimate. Making sure that you go talk to your physician and see if there's some underlying issue that is causing these changes. Like she talked about blood flow, heart disease, diabetes, blood pressure, those cholesterol, all that has to do with your blood and blood flow. So making sure that you're on top of all of that in order to have healthy intimacy, and then just building intimacy all through the day so you have a healthy relationship as well.
Which requires good communication. So not just going through the normal everyday stuff, running the children around, your day-to-day tasks, but actually sitting down and having some real communication, talking to your partner about how they're feeling, how their day was, what's going on with them. Just really taking the time to spend that emotional quality time for your emotional intimacy. And then communication is everything, as we all know, in a relationship. Usually when relationships are going bad, it has a lot to do with lack of communication. And a lot of times it has to do with your relationship with the higher power, because if that's not together, then it's hard for this to be together. So communicating about all of those things and working on that spiritual intimacy is going to be key as well.
All right.
So I hope everybody got something out of it. Y'all can put some something in the comments. If you're watching a replay, put replay in the comments. If you find this information helpful, then you can always share. And then here is our Facebook community that we would like for y'all to join. It's the Ageless Bells and Bows with Dr. Mia and Joseph. And in that group, that's where we're going to really start, focusing on having a lot of these talks and these conversations that we can do more in a private group and everybody can be comfortable. So make sure y'all join that group and stay tuned. But we will see y'all, I think, what's this month? I think we'll see y'all in the next week or two for Ageless Intimacy with Dr. Mia and Joseph, as well as Weekly Wellness with Dr. Mia. And we're going to be doing more lives to give you more information, because our goal too is to decrease the health disparity in our community and to give valuable information to our community so that we know how to live a life of wellness and we can live well, age well, and experience everlasting intimacy. So thank y'all for joining. We'll see you soon. Bye. It's
Bye.
Dr. Mia and Joseph.
Bye.
Bye.